Okay, so welcome everybody to the Oakdale City Council regular meeting, February 22, 2022. Kathy, would you do roll call, please?
Councilmember Ingebrigtson.
Here.
Councilmember Swedberg.
Here.
Councilmember Zabo.
Here.
Mayor REINKE.
Here. Please join me now in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Councilors, in front of us tonight, we have the minutes for tonight's meeting, or excuse me, the agenda for tonight's meeting. Upon review, is there any comments, or can we have a motion to approve?
So moved.
There's a motion. Is there a second?
Second.
There's a motion and a second. Is there any discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? And then the agenda is approved. So first up on it is the approval of minutes. There's two meeting minutes that we'll be taking action on. The first is a workshop from February 8, 2022, and a regular meeting from February 8, 2022. Taking that workshop first. Councilors, after review, any corrections or modifications? Could I have a motion to approve then?
So moved.
There's a motion. Is there a second?
Second.
There's a motion and the second. Is there any discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Those meeting minutes are approved as presented. The second set are for the regular meeting, February 8, 2022. Upon review, were there any adjustments or corrections? Could I have a motion then, please?
So moved.
There's a motion. Is there a second?
Second.
There's a motion and the second. Is there any discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Those meeting minutes are approved as presented. So a pretty exciting part now is this next piece where we get to swear in 3 new fire captains. So I think the process that we're going to do is I'm going to ask the individuals to meet me at the podium. We'll do the swearing in, and then I think Chief Old, where did you go? Chief, I think you're going to actually present the badge.
Yeah, they've got family members that'll.
Okay. Do you want to make comments?
Go ahead.
Put him on the spot.
So will Trent meet me at the podium, please? So let's go on this side, and I'll stay on this side. And I think what we'll do too is, let's go ahead and do pictures after each one. So we'll do the swearing in, we'll do pictures with your family and council if that's okay. And then we'll have the next person come up. So raise your right hand. Repeat after me. I, Trent Michael Christensen,
I, Trent Michael Christensen,
do solemnly swear to do my duty
do solemnly swear to do my duty
as fire captain for the city of Oakdale,
as fire captain for the city of Oakdale,
to the best of my ability,
to the best of my ability,
to serve my commanding officers
to serve my commanding officers
and subordinates with respect and dignity.
and subordinates with respect.
I understand that there is responsibility with the bugles I wear,
I understand there's responsibility with the bugles I wear,
with compassion, dedication,
passion and dedication,
honor, and integrity.
honor and integrity.
I will uphold the highest professional standards
I will uphold the highest professional standards
and proud traditions
and proud traditions
of the Oakdale Fire Department,
of the Oakdale Fire Department,
the laws and constitutions
the laws and constitutions
of the United States of America,
of the United States of America,
the state of Minnesota,
the state of Minnesota,
and the city of Oakdale.
and the city of Oakdale.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Just don't stick them. Aw.
So we're going to do pictures then?
Yeah.
Okay.
As long as you're here.
Yep.
So come on up. Family, if you'd like to join.
Don't be shy.
We'll do it with council, then the council will leave, you can do one just with family.
Yeah.
Come on, guys.
Is that okay?
I think they're doing.
Chief, you want to come?
Oh, they're doing council first? Okay.
No.
Spouse can stay. Okay. Ready, set, cheese.
Now we'll leave.
Okay, now we're ready.
You have the rest of your family. Have the rest of the family go in there. We'll just stand over here.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
Good, you can take a picture, it's good.
So there's going to have to be a little bit of a squish going on here, guys. Joshua? Right hand, please. I, Joshua Ryan Otto Elverum,
I, Joshua Ryan Otto Elverum,
do solemnly swear to do my duty
do solemnly swear to do my duty
as a fire captain for the city of Oakdale,
as a fire captain for the city of Oakdale,
to the best of my ability,
to the best of my ability,
to serve my commanding officers
to serve my commanding officers
and subordinates with respect and dignity.
and subordinates with respect and dignity.
I understand that there is responsibility.
I understand that there is responsibility.
With the bugles I wear with compassion,
With the bugles I wear with compassion,
dedication,
dedication,
honor, and integrity.
honor, and integrity.
I will uphold the highest professional standards
I will uphold the highest professional standards
and proud traditions of the Oakdale Fire Department,
and proud traditions of the Oakdale Fire Department,
the laws and constitutions
the laws and constitutions
of the United States of America,
of the United States of America,
the state of Minnesota,
the state of Minnesota,
and the city of Oakdale.
and the city of Oakdale.
Congratulations.
Thank you. That's not my wife, we're not kidding.
Yeah.
Let's get a picture.
Yeah, A shift. I forbid my family from coming. Because of the weather.
Oh. Okay. You're coming because of what? Oh, sorry. Sorry. That's nice. Oh, it's a team.
And Mark. Good evening. Raise your right hand. I, Mark James Tiffany,
I, Mark James Tiffany,
do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
to do my duty as fire captain
to do my duty as fire captain
for the city of Oakdale,
for the city of Oakdale,
to the best of my ability,
to the best of my ability,
to serve my commanding officers
to serve my commanding officers
and subordinates with respect and dignity.
and subordinates with respect and dignity.
I understand that there is a responsibility
I understand that there is a responsibility
with the bugles I wear
with the bugles I wear
with compassion and dedication,
with compassion and dedication,
honor, and integrity.
honor, and integrity.
I will uphold the highest professional standards
I will uphold the highest professional standards
and proud traditions of the Oakdale Fire Department,
and proud traditions of the Oakdale Fire Department,
and the laws and constitutions
and the laws and constitutions
of the United States of America,
of the United States of America,
the state of Minnesota,
the state of Minnesota,
and the city of Oakdale.
and the city of Oakdale.
Congratulations.
Thanks. All right.
What'd you give me?
Got a backup one in my pocket. Careful. Thank you. Are you bleeding?
Yeah.
Oh, it's okay.
Better you than me.
Thank you. Pictures?
Congratulations, you guys.
Yeah, congratulations. Welcome.
So I think we can go on to the next item, which is the open forum. Excuse me. So the open forum is a chance where anybody that's in the audience would like to comment on anything that's on their mind, anything that is happening in the city. If that person would come up and state their name and address, come up to the podium, and then we can hear your thoughts. Generally, our tradition is for the time to be about 3 minutes, and if there's somebody else in front of you that has said the same thing, it's very okay to say that you share that person's thoughts and not have to go through the whole presentation again. So is there anybody that would like to comment at open forum? One last time, is there anybody that would like to comment at open forum? Seeing none, I'm going to move forward to the next item on the agenda, which is our consensus motions. Councilors, in front of us tonight, we have consensus motions A through H. Upon review, do you want to remove any of those or pull any of them out? Could I have a motion then, please?
I'll make a motion to approve consensus agenda items A through G as presented.
H, isn't it H?
Yeah, I'm sorry, H.
So
I will make a motion to approve consensus items A through H as presented.
Very good. So there's a motion. Is there a second?
Second.
Is the motion and a second? Is there any discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Those motions are approved as presented. Thank you. First up on the advisory boards and commissions portion of the agenda is the Willowbrooke 5th edition. Chris, is there going to be any presentation on that?
Andy's going to.
It's Mr. Getzloff. Good evening.
Thank you, Mayor and Council. The item before you tonight is the approval of the Willowbrooke 5th edition final plat. This item did not go to Planning Commission because under our code, if it does not substantially change from preliminary to final plat, it does not need to go through that step, and that is the case with the 5th edition. A couple things to note about the 5th edition. This is really doing what has to do with 40th Street and the ability to do the final plat so that 40th Street can be vacated and then reconstructed. I will note that we did, there is an amended resolution in front of you. There are a few conditions after further conversations with the city engineer who's also here tonight and as well as our city attorney. We've added, I will also note that the applicant is here from Lennar and could answer any additional questions. The changes that we made were to the whereases. We referenced, since this has to do with the 40th Street vacation, we referenced the previous actions by the council to vacate 40th Street up in the whereas. And then the three conditions we added are a site improvements performance agreement be executed between the applicant and the city in accordance with the master plan unit development agreement recorded on August 5th, 2021. And that's really the document that outlines what are the public improvements that the city will be doing as part of the roadway, what are the improvements that will be done by the developer. So we want to make sure to reference that agreement in the resolution. The second condition, which is really part of the site improvement performance agreement, but felt it important to call it out separately, is that for the applicant to provide financial security for the portion of 40th Street North public improvements to be constructed by the applicant, which would be water, basically the water and sewer main components. And then the third condition is just taking a closer look. There's a discrepancy on some of the line work on the northern boundary of the plat. Without getting too specific on it, we think it's pretty minor, but we wanted to add a condition anyways that the 40th Street North right-of-way limits are resolved to the satisfaction of the city attorney and then the engineer. And then I did share the revised version with the applicant, was comfortable with the language, and I can speak to this if there's any questions.
Thank you, Andy. Councilors, any comments or questions for Andy? Then, although it's really not a public hearing, I do want to extend the invitation to the, I don't know if it's an applicant or just to Lennar, representative from Lennar Homes, if you'd like to comment. Otherwise, thank you for coming. But totally, you're good? Okay. So, councilors, can I have a motion, please?
I'll make a motion to adopt Resolution 2022 approving the final plat for the Willowbrooke 5th edition as shown in attachment.
There's a motion. Is there a second?
Second.
Point of order, Mr. Mayor. It is the new resolution, not as shown in the attachment.
Sorry.
Sorry, there's a new resolution. I just want to make sure.
So would you amend
I would like to amend that.
your motion
I'd like to amend my motion
to reflect the new resolution?
to reflect the new resolution. Sorry, I'm just trying to find
With
it.
conditions.
With conditions. And how do I make the motion? Okay.
So there's an amended resolution. Can I have a second, please?
Second.
There's a resolution and a second. Any discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The motion passes as presented. Thank you. And thank you. Next up on the agenda is the Environmental Management Commission. And in front of us tonight, we have the resignation, which we acknowledge.
Yes. Yeah.
And I want to say thank you to Gretel for her service and the time that she was able to be involved in the Environmental Management Commission. Next up on the docket is the time with the Parks and Recs Commission. And we also have a resignation, and this is from Jenny Cook. So I want to acknowledge that we've received that. And Jenny, thank you also for the time that you've served on the Parks and Recreation Commission and the time and comments that you've made to better the city. Next up is the Economic Development Commission, and there was no meeting. The Planning Commission, also there was no meeting. And then on the Parks and Recreation Commission, there was a meeting on February 15th. The liaison for that commission is Councilmember Ingebrigtson.
Not much to report there.
Very good. And then the tree board, I'm the liaison to that entity, and there was no meeting. So I'm going to move right into the staff reports. So for community development, Mr. Gitzlaw.
Thank you again, Mayor and Council. So the item before you tonight is approval of an encroachment agreement between Minnesota Pipeline Company LLC, Metropolitan Council, and the City of Oakdale for the Metro Gold Line BRT project. And the ask would be to for City Council to authorize the city administrator and mayor to sign an encroachment agreement. So a little bit of background on this item. I know we've had a number of different agreements with Met Council coming forward, and we have our Joe, who's been the primary representative on this, can answer any more detailed questions from the legal review. But basically, as part of the project, there's a few locations where pipeline needs to be crossed as part of the project, which is very similar to Oakdale, where we have a lot of pipelines that run through the city. Where a new easement is needed or encroachment is needed, the agreement would need to be in place. The crossings, and I can put up a graphic of it in a moment here, but wherever there's a new encroachment within that easement, that's where the agreement needs to get covered. And there's some areas where that's just a temporary encroachment for construction purposes, which would restore it afterwards and not as big of a concern. The other ones would be if it's an encroachment for the roadway, like for example, on Helmo Avenue, if it's for the roadway, that would be an encroachment into what would be future city right of way. If it's an encroachment across the guideway where the buses travel, that would be into future Metropolitan Council jurisdiction. So one of the things that, as going through the process, wanted to make sure is that, an understanding of, if you're encroaching into the pipeline and for whatever reason they need to maintain it, upgrade it, and tear it up, they'll do the work, the pipeline will do it, but they're not going to repair any sort of damage that they cause, so that will need to be the responsibility of Met Council or Oakdale. In this case, it is more, the description of it leaves it open that we would form another agreement with council, between council and Oakdale, which is an operations and maintenance agreement, and that's where we would address what that shared responsibility would be for any potential tearing up because they need to work on the pipeline, and then the cost to replace that. And that operation and maintenance agreement is something that has been in draft form for actually a couple of years now, but it'll also cover other things such as stormwater. There's some areas where we've got ponds where there's city water draining in and guideway water, and you can apportion that out and have agreements on there, or other things such as snow plowing is another one. So this was the condition that was negotiated for this item. I will just use the document camera for 1 second and sort of show a summary of where these encroachments are. I think it can kind of be, zoom in a little bit maybe, if possible. Well,
There you go.
there she goes.
There she
Get something to point with. All right, and I mentioned that there's temporary easements, so just to orient to where we are, this is 4th Street, this is Helmo, and this is the new guideway that would come in, and this is where the pipeline goes through. So this is where there need to be temporary easements and a few of the outlots that are under city ownership. So that one is not as much of a concern here. The other one is now we're facing, north is to the left here. We're facing, and then this would be south, so here's Woodbury, and this would be Helmo Avenue. Again, you can see the temporary easements, but also start to see the permanent encroachment. So green is where it's anticipated a permanent council encroachment. So again, not as much of our concern, but there's 2 areas here. One's on Helmo, where that would be under Helmo Road where the pipeline goes, and then here on the new street, which would access the park and ride, which would ultimately be a city street. So these 2 areas is one where we would want to just discuss further with Met Council in agreement, if changes happened. If something was to figure out responsibility, if there was an encroachment or there was work on there that needed to be repaired afterwards. And I would be happy to answer any questions or defer to our attorney that's here too as well.
Good. Thank you, Andy. Councilors, any questions? None. So is this just a motion then? Could I have a motion, please?
I'll make a motion to authorize the city administrator and mayor to sign the encroachment agreement between Minnesota Pipeline Company LLC, the Metropolitan Council, and the city of Oakdale for Metro Gold Line BRT project.
There's a motion. Is there a second?
Second.
There's a motion and a second. Is there any discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? And that motion passes as presented. Thank you. Next up is the Forestry Environmental Services. And in front of us is a professional services agreement with Rainbow Tree Care.
Our forester is here, Lauren.
Good evening, Lauren.
Hi,
Hi, Lauren.
Lauren Cota, City Forester. I don't have much to say, but I will comment. This is an agreement we've had in place with Rainbow Tree Care for several years. It does help get ash trees treated out there in private yards. And then I get a spreadsheet of the trees that gets treated, and so we add them to our database. It's a good deal. I can't find anything better. I leveraged the city council and the administrator a little bit, and we actually did get a little better deal than I originally. They were trying to squeeze us into a 1-year deal, and we were able to get a 2-year deal out of it. So they've been 3-year deals in the past. They're worried about inflation and all that. That's really it. If you have any questions, I'll be happy to answer them.
Good. Thank you, Lauren. Councilor, is there anything for Lauren?
I have a question.
Councilmember Zabel.
Lauren, so the RCA says the city treats about 70 ash trees per year. I assume that's on public land, right?
That is in right-of-ways and parks, correct?
Okay. Do we have any idea how many ash trees there are in Oakdale?
We don't have the total, and I can get you a closer figure. The last time I looked, I think it was somewhere around 2,500. We've been removing a lot of them. We have Eastside Park, Walton Park, and the Oakdale Nature Preserve inventoried, and otherwise it's just the right-of-way trees that are inventoried. So not every park is inventoried. Every park does have ash trees. Ash trees were what was planted after Dutch elm disease. Pete planted a lot of ash trees.
Okay, that's another question. Sure. And so, so for the ones that we've removed, are we removing them because they're infected or being proactive?
Both.
Okay.
So originally, when we developed the Emerald Ash Borer plan, we inventoried all boulevard trees in those 3 big parks. And we condition class rated them on a 1 to 10 scale We treated condition class 7 through 10, the best condition boulevard trees. Started treating them in 2009, basically. We removed the lowest condition class, so condition class 0 through 4, and 0 through 3, and 4, 5, and 6, we were gonna wait till they succumbed and deal with them as they started to die. The thing about emerald ash borer is when it kills a tree, the way they dry out, they become very dangerous. Within a year after death, large limbs start to break off and fall. So you're basically trying to mitigate that risk, spread out the costs. So we were treating all the best ones, we removed all the worst ones, and we're kind of letting the middle third succumb. Right now, we have EAB citywide. It's not in every tree, but it's everywhere in the city. In most trees, so right now we're running through a inventory of just the right-of-way ash trees again, so that I have current DBH's, diameter breast height, so I can estimate stump grinding costs from that. And almost every tree we are inventorying, we do see signs of emerald ash borer. For the public to listen to this right now is actually good, because this might be the last summer you get to treat your trees. So if you're not treating your ash trees yet, you want to think seriously about it, and the sooner the better this spring. There's lots of trees that I've talked to residents. We put door hangers when we're going to remove your tree. So I've talked to lots of residents. They said, my tree was perfectly healthy. I didn't see any signs of damage or anything in the fall last year. But we see evidence of emerald ash borer in the tree now. So if you don't treat them this summer and early this summer, you might lose them, so.
Thank you.
Lauren, how does a homeowner get in touch with the program or plug into the discounted fee?
So you can either call me or email me, and the city webpage, on the Forestry page of the city website, there is a link to Rainbow Tree Care. And I always encourage residents. We have, in Oakdale, we require tree care providers to be licensed to do work in Oakdale, and there's about 21 of them on the list. Almost every one of them will give you free estimates. They don't all inject for emerald ash borer, but the ones that will give you a free estimate, and nobody can beat Rainbow. They've got the market cornered on the chemical, emamectin benzoate, and the big boys can't even beat Rainbow. So the little guys, they buy smaller amounts of products and they struggle to compete with Rainbow. So it's a good deal for us and the residents. And I would encourage you to pass tonight's, what I'm asking for, I guess.
Good. Counselor, is there anything else for Lauren?
I can make one
Councilmember
additional
Zappa.
comment for anybody watching. Residents might have a question, okay, what does this cost? It sounds like, oh, this could be a costly, intensive process. For context, I have a fairly large ash tree in my yard. It costs $100 to $125, and the treatment is good for 2 years. So you're really looking at about a $50 to $60 investment per year to save a really big asset on your property. So I encourage everybody to look into it, go to the city website. It is well worth it.
Very good. Thank you. I agree. If nothing else, can I have a motion, please?
I'll make a motion to authorize the mayor and city administrator to sign the attached agreement with Rainbow Tree Care and the city of Oakdale.
There's a motion. Is there a second?
Second.
There's a motion and a second. Is there any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? And that motion passes as presented. Thank you, and thank you, Lauren.
Yeah.
Next up is our report from City Attorney. Typically with us is Jim Thompson, but tonight sitting in his place is Joe Safi, excuse me.
No, not a problem, Mr. Mayor. I have no additional report.
Counselors, anything for Joe? Very good. Thanks for coming.
Absolutely.
Next up on the agenda is time with the administrator for the administrator's report. Ms. Volkers.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor, City Council. I have nothing to report, but I will stand for questions.
Counselors, anything for Chris? Very good, thank you. Next on the agenda is time for the counselors with council presentations. I think I'll start down on my left tonight.
Nothing
Mr.
for me.
Zabel, Ms. Swedberg,
Nothing.
Mr. Ingebrigtson.
Nothing.
Mine is really going back to the consensus motions. So one of those consensus motions was the hiring of Lori Pulkrabek as our communications manager. I just wanted to say what a great deal that is. Many of you might have known, or if you're watching on TV, Lori served the city as a counselor for a number of years, and she'll kick me for not remembering, but it was easily, was it 20? I was gonna say 18. But she, a tremendous civil servant, very bright, very impactful, and a lover of Oakdale. So to be able to engage with her as the communications manager is fantastic. So welcome, Lori.
It's amazing how things come full circle.
Yeah, yeah.
Next up, if there's no other comments from counselors, our next agenda item is the claim rosters. So in front of us, we have the summary of claim rosters from February 5, 2022 through February 18, 2022. The total of this roster is $931,554.61. So upon review, counselors, did you have any questions about any of the items? Could I have a motion then, please?
Motion to approve claims is presented.
There's a motion, is there a second?
Second.
There's a motion and a second. Any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? That motion passes as presented. Thank you. Could I have a motion to adjourn, please?
So moved.
Can I have a second?
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? And the motion is approved. This meeting is adjourned. Thank you and good night.